Welcome back, everyone. I am going to be excavating a little bit more of my one chunk skyscraper, trying to get down to bedrock. But the main gist of this is I want to talk about the Snyder and James Gunn fan feud that's going on, and kind of play Peacemaker if I can. No pun intended. I'm not really able to use any footage from the James Gunn trailer. Warner Brothers is notorious for copyright striking people's videos. So you're just gonna have to listen to the sound of my voice and watch me dig a hole. So, um, but yeah, first of all, I've loved, and hated. Maybe hate's a strong word. I've loved and disliked work from both of these artists. Many of you may not know that they worked together on Dawn of the Dead, the was it 2007 remake, or 2005? I can't remember. 2000. It's been a long time, but yeah, James Gunn wrote that, and Zack Snyder directed it. I think it was his first major directing job. Um, but yeah, so they worked together on that, and they knocked it out of the park. That's an amazing zombie movie. It's one of my top three favorite. It's up there with 28 Days Later, the original one, 28 Weeks Later. Um, but anyways, I'm a huge zombie movie fan, by the way, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, then they got stuff that I don't like. I don't like Peacemaker. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people do. That's wonderful. A lot of people love that show. But it's just not for me. It's just the humor just doesn't hit for me. And I don't really like. It's like humorous zombie movies. I'm not a fan of humorous zombie movies, so I'm not a fan of humorous superhero movies. I like my superheroes a little more serious, and both artists can do serious. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was very serious, but you know, as this might piss a lot of people off, I don't really care, frankly. But I love Man of Steel. Love that movie. It's probably my favorite DC movie, and Winter Soldier is probably my favorite MCU movie. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 are way up there. I really loved both of those. The third one, I know a lot of people love it. A lot of people even say it's the best one. Not so much for me. And that's not Gunn's fault. He got fired and rehired, so he couldn't work with his original story because they already had Endgame and everything took place. So he had to kind of recraft it. I don't feel like the whole Gamora Star Lord relationship ended on a positive note. That was kind of depressing. The thing with Rocket was very depressing, very dark. And I get it, it's a dark world sometimes, but I want, my superheroes to be hopeful and optimistic. I know a lot of you are hitting the keyboard right now going, but you liked Man of Steel. Look, I get that you don't like that movie. I love that movie. To me, it's very hopeful. I like heroes that struggle and overcome their struggle. I think a lot of you forget that that's a very new Superman. His father, for his entire life, beat it into his head that if he showed anyone his powers, even to save people, that it could cost him his life, or more importantly, the people around him could be hurt. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's invincible." Yeah, but the people he loves aren't invincible, and they get threatened all the time in the comics. So, even though he's invincible or close to it, you gotta keep them in mind. So, anyways, so yes, movies that I've liked of theirs and haven't liked. Like I said, I love the first two Guardians movies. I haven't really seen much of James Gunn's work outside of that, but yeah, you know, you want something of Zack Snyder's I don't like? Rebel Moon. I tried to watch that. I couldn't get through it. And I was so psyched. I thought the trailer looked amazing. And then it dropped on Netflix, and I was like, what the hell? Yeah, it just did not gel with me at all. And it looked cheap. The acting looked wooden. It felt very much like a Netflix movie, even though the trailer looked amazing. So, um, some of his other stuff, Sucker Punch was weak. Watchmen was amazing. I don't care what you say. A lot of people hate that movie. Fight me. I say that is one of my favorite movies of all time. So, But that's the point of this video, man. We're different people. We've all got different tastes, and we've got to kind of respect each other's opinions. It's okay. I have no interest really in seeing this Superman movie. Okay, but don't hate me because of that. I'm not going to hate you for going to go see it. We got to dial back the aggression and the hostility a little bit. It's wild, man. It's really wild. Um, but anyways, so why didn't I like James Gunn's trailer? Well, it's not that I disliked it. To me it felt underwhelming. But let me tell you why I think that is. Because a lot of people think the opposite. A lot of people I see people reacting to it on YouTube like, "Oh my God, Superman's back! This is the greatest trailer ever." And I'm like, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, well, why is it just okay for me? And they seem to love it. And I think this is it. When I saw the trailer the first time, I actually saw it without sound because I was watching a movie with my daughter and I was trying to be sneaky and, take a peek at the trailer because it had just dropped. And I was, I didn't waste any time. I played it in the background, but I played it without sound so that it wouldn't interrupt what we were watching. And I think that's the big difference because let's face it, man. When that John Williams score kicks in, the bum 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 bum, everybody on Earth knows that tune. It's iconic. It's almost half a century old at this point. Uh, so everybody knows that. Everybody loves that music. That is the Superman theme. And no disrespect to Hans Zimmer, because his theme, I mean, that's an incredibly hard job to follow. Imagine being the guy that's got to come up with something as beautiful and iconic as John Williams' Superman theme. Not an easy task at all, but Hans Zimmer knocked it out of the park. I really do think 100 years from now, both of those scores will be loved and appreciated pretty much equally. They're both going to, I don't know, maybe John Williams will be preferred 100 years from now. I don't know. But one thing's for certain, they're both going to stand the test of time. They're both beautiful pieces of music. So, but yeah, Hans Zimmer can't compete with that. His score is only like 12 years old, right? Yeah, 12 years old. So, but look, I get it. You know, Superman, at least for me as a Superman fan, like I love Superman. I grew up watching Justice League Unlimited. I actually got to, when I was very, very young, I actually got to see, was it the fourth one? Had to be the fourth one. The terrible, terrible Superman Quest for Peace. Yeah, I actually got to see that in theaters as a small child. And I remember my dad being so mad that it looked so cheap. Oh, he was furious. He was complaining that it looked just like Star Trek episodes from the 60s and 70s. And it really did. You could see a little box around Superman as he was flying towards the camera, and it was just zooming in. It was awful. So, but yeah, look, I get it, y'all. Not everybody has the same reactions. A lot of people loved Superman Returns. Loved that movie. And I walked out of the theater feeling like I'd been robbed. To me, that just wasn't Superman. I mean, he literally just like lifts heavy things. He lifts a boat, he stops an airplane. Like it's just strength feat after strength feat, and there's not even really many of them. And then there's that creepy scene where he's listening in on Lois and her new boyfriend, or fiance or whatever. And to me, it just did not feel like Superman at all. I mean, some people love that movie, and that's fine. For some people, that's probably their favorite Superman movie. Anyways, yeah, for me, it's Man of Steel all the way. Love that movie. I know a lot of people don't. It's okay. Just don't hate me for loving that movie. My only problem with it was I will admit that the CGI battle with Zod was way too long. He should have trimmed that down because I was getting a headache from the visuals, from the spinning perspective. Yeah, it was a little too much. And when it was over, I was grateful. I was like, oh my God, thank God that's over. So, but he was trying to deliver this epic, showdown between two gods. I get it, but that thing gave me a CGI headache. So, even in my favorite Superman movie, there's a scene I don't like. So, just wanted to share that with you. But yeah, it's y'all. As far as like this war between the fans goes, it's being overblown. Okay, I'm really not seeing, Snyder Bros attacking people. They're defending their movie. They love Man of Steel like I do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are some like really toxic individuals out there. I'm just saying I'm not seeing them. I do see a lot more, I guess, gun fans talking about Snyder cultists and stuff like that. That's really nasty, y'all. We got to be better to each other. That's crazy. Um, but yeah, at the same time, I get it. You feel like this is going to be the greatest Superman movie of your life, and you perceive the Snyder fans, even if they're just praising Man of Steel, it feels like an attack because your movie is coming up. The movie that you wanted is coming up, and the Snyder fans, or at least DCEU fans, are talking about a movie from 12 years ago. So it's like, dude, shut up. That movie's gone. That's an old movie. This is about James Gunn's Superman. So I get it. I get it. You know, but and Snyder fans, like, my advice to y'all is like, don't be hypocrites. Don't be hypocrites. Okay. You didn't like people trashing Man of Steel for the past 12 years, so it's not time for you to get revenge on James Gunn fans, okay? I know there's the temptation to like, oh, now it's your turn. Now I'm gonna haunt you. Don't do that. Don't be the better person, okay? Not all Gunn fans are trashing Man of Steel. I've actually seen quite a few people say that they loved Man of Steel, but they're still looking forward to James Gunn's Superman. So just respect each other, y'all. Okay, just respect each other. There's no need for it to get super ugly. And something I'd like everybody to consider is that Superman is an ideal to aspire to. It's the goodness of mankind, and we should honestly all be a little kinder, a little nicer to each other. Superman belongs to both no one and everyone. So just keep that in mind. You want to be like Superman. Be nice to each other. Later.